Hi, this is Bob Samuels, founder of TechConnectr. TechConnectr is a marketplace and campaign management platform of best-of-breed, account-based marketing lead generation solutions. We've partnered with the Serious Decision Summit to bring you wisdom from leading account-based marketing thought leaders. To that end, I'm happy to introduce you to Mary Gilbert, Senior Vice President of Strategy and Account Services at R2 Integrated. Mary has years of experience helping businesses transform their marketing organizations to become increasingly more customer focused in this rapidly changing B2B marketing world. Mary, it's a pleasure to speak with you. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Bob. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you for the time. It's a fun topic, and I'm glad to get your take on account-based marketing and B2B optimization and all that. It's good stuff.
It is a fun topic. I love talking about it. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah. So some of the aspects that I've seen and from talking to people, it's ABM is it's not really a new thing. It's it's named accounts, it's target accounts, but it's got a new label, and it's a big buzz. So it's all about putting the right messages in front of the right people and prioritizing your prospects and all that. So what are some of the, first of all, if you can give a little bit about your background in B2B marketing and account-based marketing in particular, that would be a good start.
Okay, so I have been a marketer in Silicon Valley for over 25 years, so that's dating me a bit. But back in the day when we were launching AOL and Netscape, and
you started when you were 12.
I started when I was very young, yeah, and back then it was very traditional database marketing. We used a lot of email and direct mail and lead generation tactics like registration cards and those kinds of things. And I literally started helping clients like 3Com and Cisco move their registration cards into databases and put programs together to market to those customers for upsell and cross-sell and retention and upgrades. Remember the days of upgrades, and really have been in the saddle of B2B tech and have gone through the digital transformation wave and found myself on the other side about 12 years ago in the realm of what we now call today account-based marketing, which to me is more than a way of targeting personalized messages into accounts. It's really an organizational way of being. It impacts marketing, it impacts sales development, it impacts sales, and it impacts your customer success organization. So it is an organizational decision, not just a marketing decision. And from my standpoint, it's really what pushed us over the edge from that traditional B2B marketing where you had kind of a range of tools you used and you still were spraying and praying, but you were doing a little bit more target refinement. And this is really about focusing your organization around those top accounts that are going to be net the most benefit to your organization from a sales size, deal size, sales velocity, as well as a long-term lifetime value.
Makes sense. So it's really a culture change.
Absolutely.
It has to happen in the company.
Yep.
And what I like about it is that it seems to make a lot of sense that it's a rallying cry or a cause to coordinate between sales and marketing. Getting each of the groups focus on the top targeted accounts or the accounts that are going to bring in the most value.
Yeah, exactly. And when you look at it from a maturity standpoint in organizations, there's really three kind of quadrants that you look at. One is the targeting and the tech, which is where a lot of companies really just stop, right? Hey, we know who those customers are and that's who we're going to target, but there's also then that experience. So personalize the right messages to the right people in the buying ecosystem. And then the team and the culture of that team and the orchestration of that team and where the handoffs are and who touches who when and how to refine those moments. So there's a really kind of three big variables that come into play when a company is trying to become more mature and really make ABM a core part of its strategy.
That makes sense. And who have you seen typically drives it? Is it sales or marketing or, like you said, customer experience, or is it someone else, or is that important?
Yes, that is really important. And, it really has highlighted, one of the key challenges in organizations today, which is sales and marketing often are at odds. And so a lot of times what in customer success may sit off in another area somewhere and throw data out, or, you know, um, uh, bring up issues that might be happening with customers that might inform a sales cycle or a marketing cycle, but they're not really working in tandem all the time. And what we typically see is is a marketer will bring up the notion of ABM, and sales will say, "Hey, well, we're already doing that." But marketing isn't necessarily targeting programs towards those customers. So, once that champion from a marketing standpoint arrives, then that's when things really start to get going. So we see typically there's an ABM lead, and they wear a marketing hat, but they really are in service to sales.
Right. I mean, to me, everybody is either in sales or in sales support
Yeah,
or sales enablement.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, and that's where I think the resistance has always been sort of, marketing was thinking longer term and big brand and all of that, which is still important. But when you look at it from an ABM standpoint, everything you do, even from a brand perspective, becomes in service to those top accounts. And then if as you decide to go broader, or you know that you need to go broader because you want to have a larger brand, footprint out there in the marketplace, your content and your stories are still informed by those target accounts that you want to go after, and not the other way around. And I think that's really the switch that we have seen. That the tail wagging the dog now are those target accounts, not the goals of the brand team, and those become
Right.
more tightly aligned.
Right. That makes sense. So what, do you have any examples of some of the companies that have implemented ABM really well?
Yeah. And what we're seeing is the ones that are doing it really well are typically ones that are either on the sort of mid-market, ready to kind of move to that next wave of growth around 100 million, 200 million, dollar companies, maybe in a series C or series B, and they're really, really aggressive and really serious about ABM. So one of our clients, Centrify, who's a cybersecurity company, got super serious about ABM about 3 years ago, and launched a program targeting their top 20% of their client base, and that top 20% of their client base netted 60% of their revenue in that first year. And they saw their deal velocity increase, they saw retention rates increase, they saw deal size increase. And so that was a really, really great story. In fact, Rhonda Shantz, who was the CMO at the time, who has now gone over to Mobile Iron, a client that we're doing a similar thing for, was one of the keynotes at Serious Decision Summit last summer, and really showed their program. And what was their key to success was that orchestration between sales and marketing. She did a really, really great job of getting sales buy-in, of designing the processes, of locking in that customer base, and really doing targeted programs against those top accounts. Another one that is a favorite of mine, which is a client, everybody knows Ingram Micro, but not everybody knows that Ingram Micro is now a technology platform company, and they launched a product called Cloud Blue, which is an enabling platform to allow companies in the anything as a service economy to launch SaaS products to customers. So one of their clients is T-Mobile, for instance, and they use their platform to sell software services to small businesses, small and medium businesses. There's only about maybe 1,200 companies in the world that they really want to go after, and they had no marketing organization, they had no demand generation strategy, they had a really good solid sales team, and we came in and worked with them on setting up their marketing organization and driving it all from an ABM standpoint. So everything they do is ABM. And they've actually been able to grow their brand, they've penetrated the key accounts that they've needed to penetrate, and they're really on a roll. And we have taken that ABM foundation and done some brand work on top of it, like we've done a strategic partnership with Fortune. But accounts, and the kinds of content that across that decision journey are really most relevant to those companies that we're going after. So while we're going after a good broad footprint in Fortune because we want to be where Microsoft is and Salesforce is, that is, it's a big chunk of their media spend, but the biggest chunk of their marketing effort and their content effort and their sales orchestration effort goes against those 1,200 companies. And there's probably somewhere around 4,500 to 5,000 contacts that we're working at any given time within those companies against a global sales team.
Beautiful, and that brings up a good point where there's not just one contact at that target company. There's a whole buying committee.
Yeah, exactly.
Different angles that you need to hit them.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, and
so
it's
then you have all these different personas you need to hit, right?
Yeah,
different messages for different types of people.
And it's that buying committee that has really driven this whole ABM approach. And I remember about 10 years ago when I was running strategy for MRM on the Microsoft business. And we worked on a campaign called People Ready Business. And that was when really the lights went on for Microsoft and our team, around, hey, there's business decision makers here that have a say in whether you're running a Microsoft platform or, a competitor platform. And we need to get to them, whether they sign the check or not. They're the ones that are really in there that have, having the business concerns that are driving the IT agenda. And so that was the first in my career, really true ABM content oriented campaign. Of course, it wasn't down at the, micro level of targeting that we're getting today or the orchestration across sales, but it really provided that foundation for me that in my own mind, I was like, this is the future. I'm going in that direction because it's really, it really had an impact on their ability to close more deals and, their retention and their footprint in the market from a brand perspective as well. Business decision makers were all of a sudden paying attention to Microsoft technology where they might have been ignoring it in the past.
Sure, that makes sense. So I guess you found, the clients find that it's not ABM is not a project. It's like you said, it's a culture change. And
yeah, it's a way of life.
And it's constant. It's going on forever. It's not. There's no end date.
No, it's going to just get more and more and more prevalent. In fact, we're talking to companies now, and I was just talking to Stanley Black & Decker a couple of weeks ago, and they, were looking for really just some B2B strategies, and we went and started talking to them about ABM, and they were, of course, already kind of in the know about it, but really had no idea about how to get started, or even that they could possibly execute an ABM strategy. So, we're seeing it, and now they're, looking at the technology and talking about Bombora and looking at demand base and thinking about which, platforms they need to integrate with their Salesforce. So, it's something that's pretty easy once people get their heads around, this is the direction we want to go, to start really talking about how to bring that to life.
Yeah, and that's a good point you're bringing up about some of the technology. One of the things that I've found is that there's some companies make the mistake of figuring that if they go out and buy a technology, then that's their ABM strategy.
Yes.
That'll solve all their problems.
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't.
A little unfair to that technology company if you don't do all the homework and
yeah, it is, and
coordination.
Yeah, and there's 100 technologies that you could put together for your. In fact, it is a whole kind of body of technology that you have to look at across the entire spectrum. And, we're seeing a lot more kind of even partnerships with demand base, for instance, around Adobe and Pardot and ZoomInfo and Bombora, and some of those, inextricably linked technologies that people have been having to weave together themselves in the past.
Yeah, so you've mentioned a few technologies. So some of them you mentioned were contact data, some are intent data, some are programmatic outreach. So what are some of the other favorite technologies that you're seeing along the way, or if you've named some good ones?
Yeah, those are pretty much our favorite. I mean, LiveRamp is a great one as well. It's really an awesome tool for targeting the right content at the right time, and getting getting those target companies kind of householded to, or the contacts within the target companies householded together so you can identify their roles and that kind of thing. And that really informs the downstream of your campaign tools, like your demand base or, some of the others that are out there right now. And then of course, you can't back away from your CRM system at all, and really, tight integration with Salesforce or whatever CRM system that you happen to be running is super, super important as well, because that's what your salespeople are really using and are, most addicted to as well.
Sure, makes sense. And one of the things that I don't think there's any technology that can help is figuring out the messaging.
Right.
And what message to put in front of the right people. And
yeah.
So that's something that I guess your team can help with your clients as far as
absolutely
different messages for the different personas.
Yeah, absolutely. And message testing is so critical too, and the cool thing about a lot of the tools that we've got out there in the market today is, they really help us do a lot of A/B testing around the right messages at the right moments in time as well.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, you can use a trigger-based system also to look at, intent data in terms of who's in the market now, but you don't always know which stage they're at. So you also have to test content that's going to trigger somebody who's at a certain stage in the buying process as well, and rotate those messages to make sure you get them at just the right moment.
Yeah, and then you also you have different channels to reach them.
Yeah, exactly.
So they react to email or web, or maybe, I don't know, text is probably a little bit spooky, but
yeah,
lots of channels.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Cool. So what kind of what if you have your crystal ball in front of you, what are some of the things that about account-based marketing as things progress and technology changes? What is it going to look like next year or in 5 years from now? What do you see happening?
There's really 3 areas that I'm seeing, and I think when I kind of look across the body of thought leadership that's out there for ABM, that seems pretty consistent. But the ones that are my favorites are, first and foremost, is that ABM becomes the basis of your marketing strategy. Really knowing who your customers are and focusing all of your energy around that. We're gonna see a lot more effectiveness in marketing. We're gonna see a lot more efficiency in developing of resources and materials and focusing and alignment, because it's been a crazy, as we know, as we've gotten into digital, it's been a crazy, hectic time for marketers. And I think marketers and sales folks are looking for some focus and some alignment. And I think that's going to be huge. I think the second thing is technology. So AI and machine learning are going to help us get better and better and better at sensing where someone is in the process, who they are, what their concern is, and delivering the right types of content to keep them moving through the process. So we're going to see a real increase in deal velocity, an increase in size of deals, and upsell and cross-sell through the process, and an increase in retention down the line, because we're going to be optimizing when a salesperson calls, what they say, how they say it. And so those relationships are going to be stronger going into accounts. And I think that technology is going to make all the difference. And I think, along that theme of technology is the consolidation. I think we're going to start to see demand-based buying up companies, and Salesforce buying up companies, and all, Adobe buying up companies, and all these technology platforms are really getting in the game. They're starting to work together really closely, and I think we're going to see more consolidation there. So it's going to be easier for marketers to get into the game without having to stitch all the pieces together themselves. And then finally, it's that culture piece we talked about. I think, I'm already seeing opportunities for consultants to come in and do culture work around alignment with sales and marketing teams, and the orchestration of processes, and relationship building, and the kinds of things that have needed to happen. But this is really the opportunity and the true necessity that's going to drive that shift in culture. So you're going to see a lot more collaboration between sales and marketing and customer service.
Yeah, makes total sense. And it's good for all of them. I mean, it's wonderful to have a shared vision and a shared goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I
Beautiful.
think it's going to make people really, you're going to see retention rates in organizations increase because people are able to be more successful and less friction in the process. And, so because they have a common set of customers to rally around, and everybody likes that sort of common mission and purpose.
Yeah, yay team. Beautiful. So anything else I've missed? Otherwise, this has been really, really helpful information, Mary.
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty much what I wanted to share. And I'm, feel like you've really teased out some great questions, and I love the opportunity to think about this and appreciate your the dialogue around this.
No, it's my pleasure. I love learning and sharing nice ideas. So thank you for your participation. I look forward to seeing you in person here in the Bay Area soon, and meeting some of your colleagues at Serious Decisions.
Great. Me too.
All right. Well, thanks again, Mary, and have a great day.
Thanks, Bob. You too. Bye.
Cheers.